Hey guys, Kat Secor, IFBB Pro and Super League Pro, and you're watching Muscle Sport TV.
Right now, I would like to welcome to MSTV Mr. Jesse Blaze Snider. What's up, Jess? How the hell are you?
How's it going, man? I'm doing right. I'm doing right. I'm doing all right.
Well, you have young kids, and you're obviously with the whole coronavirus lockdown thing, so I cut you some slack because it must be tough. They must be climbing the walls, the kids, with boredom and whatever.
Oh, yeah. It's I told my son he could take a little break while I did this interview, so... it's just like, it's left to them to do, and, it's really not presented very well, school.
I can imagine. I've heard.
It's not enjoyable. I mean, there's a couple things that they're doing that are all right with, like, this, like, at-home schooling thing. But, I mean, generally speaking, my kids are just kind of like, and I understand.
Yeah.
My older kids are really diligent. My daughter's just, like, kind of doesn't complain, just gets on it in the morning. My son Cassidy's like that too. He'll like do like 2 days in a row or 3 days in one day.
Mm-hmm.
But my son Grayson, he's more like me. And he's just like, oh my God. I understand, but
yeah.
I do it too,
Yeah. Well, let's hope it's over with.
School them yourself, uniquely, because you're just like, I could do a better job than this bull crap.
Yeah, it ain't that hard, right? But Jesse is a musician. You're an actor as well. Your dad is Dee Snider from Twisted Sister, one of my favorite groups of all time. Being a Brooklyn kid, I first saw them at L'Amour in 1982. So I go back to the Rough Cuts EP, Jess.
Is it L'Amour or is it L'Amour's? I'd always heard
L'Amour. No, everybody called it L'Amour's, but it was just L'Amour.
Oh,
the technical real name of it.
L'Amour's. You want
L'Amour's. Well, it's like the Guinea way of saying it, I guess.
It's pretty funny that, like, it took, I don't know, probably like 20, 30 years of hearing the name L'Amour's before it was said properly to me.
I can tell you officially, I lived like 4 blocks away from there, and I worked there when I was 15, okay? This is when the drinking age was 18.
All right, nice.
And I do have to ask you a question, though. Is Blaze a nickname or is that like a middle name, official?
No, that's my legal name.
It is your legal name.
Yeah.
Because it's funny to be the one of the bouncers at Lemoore, this big dude, his nickname was Blaze. Mm-hmm. And I remember when I worked there, I had to bring him a shot of Southern Comfort. And he, like I said, this guy, I was a little skinny teenager with, freaking like a mullet, and this guy was a monster. So it's just funny that you have that same name.
About the name, because it's like, they say what's in a name.
Yeah.
But there's a lot in a name, and it's very interesting. Jesse, Jesse was from Jesse James. All my siblings and I are all Cowboys and Cheyenne sisters in Indian.
Very
so
cool.
It's Jesse, Shane, and Cody. And then we all kind of have unique middle names. But mine, and my dad won't admit this, but I think subconsciously it's just a must. He read comic books, and one of his favorite characters was Ghost Rider, whose name was Johnny Blaze.
Yeah.
So came up with Jesse. I think it was just, he didn't have to think, I'm naming him after the Ghost Rider. Where else do you get Jesse Blaze? Johnny Blaze. Sounds the same.
Yeah.
All my kids are named after superheroes. But it's funny, within that, it's my real name. But people just assume, because it's sort of an out-of-the-box real name,
sure,
that it's a made-up name. When you start to think that it's a made-up name, what do you think? What do you think? If I nickname myself that, then what does that mean? What am I saying?
I don't know, maybe if motorcycle rider or something like Ghost Rider, maybe.
So there was a lot of things, but blazing is getting high. When I was young, people used to think all the time that I was a stoner.
Mm-hmm.
I was straight edge. I'm a stoner now, which is really funny. I didn't start smoking weed until I was 28.
What's the matter with you, bro? You did it right at the beginning.
It was because it was recommended to me that I was really high strung, and I didn't even notice it. And when I smoked weed for the first time, I became like more normal, like a more normal, what I like to think of as people should be, kind of calm and in charge of their own mind and at ease. And I was not at ease ever. But it was funny when I was growing up, I always hated whenever people would think it was a made up name because they thought I was a pothead and I was straight edge. And now I'm like, well, I don't give a shit because I am a pothead.
Yeah.
So who cares?
I have to ask you quickly now. Obviously, your sister was in the news recently. Is she okay? Is she back home in New York now?
Yeah, she's all good. It all worked out. Really, there was worry. My father was worried. It's his daughter. But really, ultimately, it worked out, pretty smoothly. She actually went there on a retreat. My whole family has come to, my father still does not partake in this, and he stays outside the box. But my mom and my siblings, we've all come to partake in, spiritual medicine. Mm-hmm. Marijuana is a smaller one of those. Psilocybin mushrooms, a bigger one, and then ayahuasca is even bigger. And we've all had different health problems that we haven't quite been able to manage. Me and my sister both had real chronic pain, and we turned to Mother Ayahuasca, the spirit of the plant vine that grows in the Amazon, to help us. And so she was out there doing a ayahuasca retreat, and this stuff went down halfway through the retreat. So she was able to still finish doing her retreat, and I don't actually had to wait that much longer before she got out of there. Yeah. I know it was a scary thing for her, and I'm really glad that she's through it. And it was a scary thing for my dad, and I'm so glad that they're through it. I believed it was all going to work out, and I feel like it has. So I'm just grateful that has happened.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. How old is she now?
She's 15 years younger than me, so she's 22.
Wow. When I first met you, she was preschool age. I guess it was.
I was 15. She was born. Yeah. So she's like my firstborn.
Yeah,
yeah. It always meant something to me to be a representative of being the oldest. That got me in some trouble. Before we spoke, I said, I'm going through a divorce with my soon-to-be ex-wife, even though I still love her very much. I'm never going to remove my tattoo. But neither one of us were really very happy in the relationship. And I think ultimately it was because both of us were kind of subscribing to all these age-old, you gotta keep it together for the kids, and you gotta keep it together, like that it was somehow embarrassing to get a relationship wrong or something like that when so much was right. And there was plenty that was right about our relationship. But, doing right by your family is something, that's always, meant something to me. I think, the lesson for all of us is that you got to do right by yourself first or you're going to lose your mind.
Yeah.
and then try at every opportunity to do right by your family whenever you can. Yeah. But, it's a wonderful thing to have a family that, feels like a family and, you can turn to and are very together. And the greatest thing I could say about my parents is that they always just instilled fun in us. My dad introduced me to comedy films when I was very, very young, and I was obsessed. Like whatever. I'm very maybe like Asperger's OCD. Like I study things like crazy when I get interested in it. And so comedy was my first love and the first thing I did like that. And I just wanted to watch every movie that was considered to be really, something. And I was into the Marx Brothers and Monty Python and all those things and introduced to me by my father. And comics, introduced to me by my father. Mm-hmm. It became a huge, I like comic books professionally. And it was one of the loves of my life. And, and my mother, in general, she just loved to go out. Loved to be a family, loved to do things together, and she always made that fun and engaging. So if the Snider family was going out, we were always down to enjoy each other. Yeah, and that's the thing. At the end of the day, it's not even like at gunpoint. It's not like we're all so loyal. We're like, all right, Mom and Dad, we'll go with you. It was like, oh yeah, we're gonna go have fun. Let's go have fun. We love to have fun. It was instilled in us that that you enjoy your family, mm-hmm. and that's the thing I think people forget sometimes. It's like it becomes a chore for them because they're focused on the wrong stuff. Yeah, and I got to accuse myself of that in the past and dealing with depression and stuff like that. I know I focused on the wrong stuff here or there, but most of the time I haven't.
Yeah, we're all human, bro. You know what I mean? But you were born like as soon as the band really started to hit it, kind of. I mean, they obviously, everybody knows, they 1973, all the local bars and everything, and they kept getting turned down, and they were like that type of band that would never accept defeat, and which was really cool.
I love them. Shane and Cody are doing awesome, by the way. And Cody's in Hollywood with his movie on track to get made. Once we get out of all this nonsense, and there's a lot of really cool stuff going on for all of them. So it's amazing. Soon the Snider family will take over the world.
That would be cool. No, listen, like you said, all these have different things that you do. You obviously you followed in your dad's footsteps as a lead singer, and I really thought, first of all, I love the fucking Price cover is fantastic. By the way, amazing video.
Oh, thank you so much,
bro. It's so fucking cool, and the whole thing with the diabetes actually hits home for me because my wife and daughter both have diabetes. So when I saw all of that stuff, I thought that was cool. But I want to also ask you, when your dad did the slow version of We're Not Gonna Take It and they did children's cancer, now is there some kind of connection with the way you did your video and bringing out something like that, and then the way Dee did his?
Very, very savvy of you to notice. I mean, just subtly. I just had a friend of mine who was somebody who was following me for a while, and he, reached out to me and just kind of said similar to you. He was just like, I think your family's so wonderful, and I really like your music, and I would love to be able to promote you in some fashion. I'm doing this thing with diabetes, and I want to make a song to raise awareness. What do you think about, covering, originally he wanted to cover that song. Mm-hmm. And I was just kind of like, well, there's no reason to do the exact song that my dad did, mm-hmm. like why don't I just take a quick think on it about, and I don't think actually I thought very long. It was probably by the end of the conversation or in the middle. I said, you know what? We should just cover the price, because the price is about me and my mom, and, about being away from family, losing time with family. And, and losing time with family is the price of diabetes in so many ways, whether people die or having to be hospitalized or aren't being able to do their regular things because of this stupid, disease that's getting in the way. And so many people not being aware that they have this thing that's getting in the way. So as soon as I said that to him, he was like, all right, yeah, definitely, let's do that. So I reached out to my buddy Michael Naranjo in South Africa, who's a brilliant producer, and he and I, put together the song. And, it's such a beautiful song. I didn't really want to, I really didn't want to reinvent it so much. Mm-hmm. I just tried to to bring out what was already there, which there's just a really beautiful lift in the chorus to the song. And so we just accentuated that lift by bringing the verses kind of low and sing, giving it a different vibe so that when that chorus hits, it really pops out. But I love the original, and it's hard to touch a classic, especially if you've heard it a million times. But it feels wonderful when people say that they really liked it so genuinely, like you did, because a lot of people have said that, and I'm really happy to hear that, because I did try.
No, you fucking nailed it, obviously, and just the whole aspect with the goodwill thing with the whole diabetes was and that's kind of the way with the We're Not Gonna Take It, which was so cool, the way it was filmed in the desert with the guy playing the piano and your father. I mean, I
think a bunch of people had that idea at the same time. So I don't want to give credit, but somebody had told my dad. Oh, a friend of theirs. I think it was no, not Lita Ford's. One of the pop stars that he knows. Whose name Debbie Gibson. Debbie Gibson's husband. They're friends with him. He's kind of like a holistic doctor, really nice guy. And and he, I think, called my dad one day and went, "You know what you should do? You should do a acoustic cover of We're Not Gonna Take It." And then I feel like a couple other people ended up coming to him later and saying the same thing, actually. And he was like, all right, I guess maybe I should do this. But if I'm remembering the story correct. But it came out so beautiful. And, I love doing that. I love taking a song that's there and really allowing some of the brilliant lyrics to come out. Twisted Sister does not get enough fucking respect. Especially because of the era they came out of, the 80s glam era, which most of that era doesn't deserve respect. But Dee Snider is a continuation of 70s freedom fighting. Mm-hmm. He really had empowering lyrics that have stood the test of time. It's not that they say We're Not Going to Take It. I Want to Rock has stood the test of time too.
Sure,
because the lyrics are the same thing. They're, there's a feeling that I get from nothing else, and there ain't nothing in the world that makes me go. Everybody knows that it's a universal intention, and turn it down. You say, no, I can't not feel what I feel. They're real visceral songs. It's about some girlfriend or something. It's about power to the people. Yeah. And that is why those songs have stood the test of time. That's why The Price is as beautiful and has stood as it has. And they have more songs that should have stood better than they have, and I believe that they will over time. You know, as more and more people go to look for a classic band and go look up Twisted Sister's catalog, I know more and more of these songs are going to show up in movies and places, and people will get a second chance to listen to "I Am I Me" and
great.
you know, "We're Gonna Make It" and "I'll Never Grow Up Now," and you know, they're just universal songs. "I Am I Me." Everybody needs to hear that song.
Yeah.
Who are you to look down at what I believe? I'm onto your thinking and how you deceive. It's just wonderful, wonderful lyricism.
Yeah.
And you know, we're not going to take it and slow it down like that. I think it gave the opportunity to put his brilliant lyrics on display in a way that they haven't been before, and also give him a chance to do something with his voice that he doesn't always do. When people hear him sing Led Zeppelin, they're like, "Holy shit, Dee Snider is like one of the greatest rock vocalists." I'm like, "Yeah, I know that, but what's your problem?" I mean, he does Robert Plant better than Robert Plant to this day. No offense to Robert. I love you, Robert. but music has always been a huge part of my life. At the same time, I was maybe being like a little bit lazy about my music thing, only because I was kind of looking for my dad to like go, "You're great," and like make me feel like I should do it. And I wasn't exactly feeling like that. And then I kind of got a reverse response from him because my aunt and my uncle came over who really loved me. They're my godparents, and they'd always been very encouraging of me. And I'd just written like one of the best songs I'd ever written at the time. I was like 17, I think. And I was like, "Aunt Melissa, can I share a song with you?" And like I brought her downstairs and I shared this song with her. And she was just like, "That's like so beautiful, Jesse. How come your dad isn't helping you?" And I went, "I don't know. Like she was like, "Well, maybe you should ask him." And I went and I asked him. I said, "Why are you helping me with music?" And he told me that I had no passion. And he didn't mean to insult me like this. Mm-hmm. I realize that now. But in the moment, that response, like I was like, "You motherfucker! I will show you passion." Because I'm so passionate, but what he meant to say was, you seem really passionate about comics, you seem really passionate about writing, you seem really passionate about a few things, but I don't necessarily see the passion for music that I personally had. Mm-hmm. That's what he was. But it lit a fire under me.
I was going to say, they probably lit a fire under your ass hearing that from him. Yeah,
fire under me. I was like, "I'm going to show you," and I quickly had a band for the next 2 years called Blazed, and I hooked up with this brilliant drummer who was a pupil of Bobby Rondinelli's, and also another wonderfully multifaceted guy who really believed in me. He worked for his father's construction company. I was working for my ex-wife's family's construction company, and we were recording into the night every day. And I'm so glad I finally released these things posthumously because my drummer Chris passed away. He crashed right before my 21st birthday, and he died instantly. And I was really lost for a while. It took me a while before I put anything else together. But just recently, the demos that his dad painstakingly mastered got re-released with the Baptized by Fire 13th anniversary, which Baptized by Fire came about from my experience with Chris. Half the material there was stuff that I had started putting together with him before he died. Yeah. And then the other half was the stuff that the new band put together. And I was in just like a really weird time. So it's some of the styles like clash a little bit. It doesn't all fit together as well as things that I've been making now do, because I kept trying to kind of shoehorn different things that I had written or that I wanted to do, mostly because my friend had died and I was so polarized that I didn't let it take shape more naturally. Which is funny, listening to it now, I'm like, oh man, I could have separated this into two very cohesive records. So it's like the stuff that I let take place kind of naturally, and then the stuff that I was kind of shoehorning in from my previous band. Because my friend had died and it meant something to me. But I just put all that stuff out, which is cool. And then, what actually happened after Baptized by Fire, I didn't really know what to do. I had done this big show, Rock the Cradle. They never let me play any originals. And when it finally came time for all my opportunities from Rock the Cradle to see me play my originals, they kind of didn't know what to do with me because I was a Sid Vicious punk, a Lemmy Kilmister, I wasn't a clean cut Bon Jovi. Like, and they thought because I was on this, this reality singing competition where that was kind of the name of the game, that's what I did, and that wasn't what I did. The Whiskey a Go-Go, I had Liberty Spikes flopping all around, and I came off the stage, and so many of these people who were like opportunities yesterday looked at me like, huh, interesting, and then I never heard from them again. And I was just like, apparently nobody knows what to do with me. So I got really upset because I felt like I was a songwriter first and foremost, and I was good, and people weren't noticing my writing ability, because I thought that my writing ability would basically break through any raunchiness or any heaviness of my music. And but it was a weird time in music. Everybody was getting dropped from the labels, so like things that seemed risky to people, like they weren't getting signed. So I mean, I didn't necessarily like think too much of it. But then I decided, that's it. I'm just going to write songs. I'm going to write songs with every person on the planet until I prove to myself that I'm the greatest songwriter on the planet. And not that I think I'm the greatest songwriter on the planet, but as an aspirational point.
Sure,
I'm going to do this until I'm the best at doing it, or at least I feel like I can say that I've tried. And that's what I did. I wrote with I wrote with 100 people, but I've got at least, I got 50 compositions out of it during that time or something like that. And I ended up releasing all these things in different ways. There's one album which was meant to be kind of its own little side project called Blacklight District that I wrote with my friend Will Knox, and that whole thing was with him. There was another little side project that I put out for myself called The Slip, which was a collection of all these kind of dark pop songs. It was Love Songs from a Serial Killer is the album title. They're all actually out as Jesse Blaze now, so you can actually go check them all out. But they were essentially all side projects that I was doing. And then I also put out an album called 16, which just had 16 completely different compositions. I mean, there's one on there where I'm doing like some crazy kind of, I think it's a bad Zeppelin impression, but people love it, and my producer loved it, and he wouldn't let me remove it. I was like, that was a demo to show you how it should be done, so you can get somebody to do a good job. And he was like, it's awesome, I don't know what you're talking about. And I'm like, it sucks. What the And I've had one person at least say, like, this is a bad Zeppelin impression. And I was like, yes, it is. You're right. I agree. But people do like it, and it has been used for, like, films and stuff. So, like, it was just 16 songs that have been used in different places, 16 songs that I wrote for friends, like, for their podcasts or for their Kickstarters or little things that I was sitting on, and they're all different. I mean, there's, like, a Sherman Brothers, something out of Walt Disney Studios, little 30-second theme song for my friend Scary Godmother on the 16 release. And then I just collected a couple singles from... I guess I came out like as a solo artist as Jesse Blaze Snider for like a second and released some singles, but I never really made an album. And so I mean, really for me, this new album that I just put out, it came out on May 1st. It's called "Come With Me If You Want to Live." This is the first time I did something as Jesse Blaze, as me. I decided to get rid of the Snider so that the people who don't know, because I prefer that. I really would rather everybody listen to it for what it is.
For you, of course,
for not what it might be. And, Come With Me If You Want to Live was me just saying what I mean by the album. This is my journey as a human being on this planet. It's been hard. And, this is what I've learned. And ultimately I've learned that people need more support than we're getting. And that this world should be a much better place than it is. And, this is the beginning of me talking about that. And I hope to... really start to expound about some stuff. But for me, it's all about those lyrics and writing songs that are meaningful to people's lives.
So that's pretty cool, man. So you got the album out. It's under Jesse Blaze. And is the Price song on that album, or is that just a separate release?
Yeah, the Price is on there. And it's really cool that I had that because... I didn't have a good plan exactly because I wouldn't have picked the Price, but I always wanted to have one of my dad's songs, like one of the things that he wrote, because he's got multiple bands, Widowmaker and Desperado. There's some beautiful songs on some of those records that I would love to cover. And I had recorded the Price for Diabetes with the same producer, and it was just sitting there. And I was like, you know what? I think this needs to go on the record. I always wanted to have, something to represent my lineage,
Yeah.
I guess it was really after people started to react to it good that I felt good enough to be like, all right, maybe I'll include it, because it is a tricky thing. The idea of like,
Of course, yeah.
you
Yeah.
either want to offer something to the original or you don't want to do it. So, but people were feeling like we had. So I'm glad that people did, and yeah, it's track like 7, I think, on there.
Really cool.
And 12 tracks, and I like albums. It tells my whole story. I mean, there's even a track 3 or 4 is about my experience with Mother Ayahuasca, who's the spirit plant of the ayahuasca vine. Which if you ever go read about ayahuasca, you'll hear that people speak to the spirit plant, and she spoke to me plenty, and that was largely what she told me. She told me that I had to do what I was here to do, which was have a conversation with people. That I'm a linguist, and I'm an English major. That's really my thing. Studying language, writing, and our language is a terrible trap. It really is responsible for so much of the stupid, petty differences that we have, just being able to maintain themselves through really poor communication.
Yeah.
And because of the way that meaning can be trapped inside of words, and then we repeat the words and we echo the meaning, and it's a really tricky thing, and we really have to be taught how to better use our language, because we are communicating energetically all the time, and the words kind of like become Trojan horses for people in so many different ways. And we could really be living in a much better world if we had a better idea about our communication. And saw that we weren't quite so divided as we are. I mean, just think about something like God and Allah. If you want to talk to some people who are going to tell you what Allah is, they're going to tell you that it's the universe, it's the totality of all the things. So, and then that's the same thing that this other guy's going to say if he's going to just, versus like the one, like, and there's other people who say, no, it's this guy. And granted, there's all different thoughts, but so many of us are actually really thinking the same thing when it's being disguised in words, and being able to demystify the power of these words so that we're not so spooked by their inherent meaning, recognizing that other people don't necessarily mean the same thing as you. Songs are a wonderful place to have these kind of conversations. Occasionally, there are songs that come along that have great conversations. Something as simple as the thrift shop, talking about going to the thrift shop and buying some cheap clothes from your old man, your grandpa's clothes are cheap at the thrift. That is talking about the story of poverty and how turning lemons into lemonade. And, that's a great lesson and a great message. And so much like that can be done, and so much more knowledge can be gleaned from music. And there's not a lot of that going on the radio right now, but I'm going to change that.
I hope you do, bro. Where can people find the album? They can download it and purchase it.
It is everywhere digital music can be found: Spotify, iTunes, Google, Amazon, Napster, Tidal, whatever you're at. It's up for free on SoundCloud. You don't even have to have a subscription. I have like links up there if you just type in my name. Well, actually, no. If you go on SoundCloud, I'm under Blacklight District Studios, which is my studio, which makes all this stuff. I mean, my mobile studio, wherever I may roam.
Yeah. We got only a couple of minutes left. I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you about the Brooklyn Mariners, bro.
Oh yeah, man.
Pudgy.
I am fortunate to say that I am one of the members of the dynasty that has unfortunately come to an end. I believe I heard that Pudgy had just passed away last year.
Yeah.
And I don't know what's happening thereafter. I really kind of want to play again. I played for like 7 years with the Mariners, I think. I got picked up by my friend Jason Beckles, who played flag football with me. I used to play in high school. I was the captain of my team, MVP. I was a littler guy. I'm very fast and ferocious, but I was always on losing teams. I actually, like, my original team in high school went to the Final Four after I moved to Ward Melville. I was so upset.
That's a killer.
My team, I would have been leading them to the freaking final. I was like, we would have won. I felt I'd been deprived of a championship game, and football was so much a part of my life. I love football. I mean, I've come to realize, not really watching it so much. I enjoy watching Jets football. I mean, sometimes it's frustrating. But I mean, playing football, I really love contact sports. I believe in physicality. I believe in, honor among men. And you say it's okay for me to beat the shit out of you. I say it's okay for you to beat the shit out of me.
Mano, yeah. Let's go.
I like that. For me, that has meaning. And I missed it so much. And when I got to play for the Mariners, I showed up to practice and they were like, you can come back. And I was like, all right. And, I'm a busy guy, so I really couldn't be there for practice every week. And I was living deep out on Long Island.
Sure, it's a hike.
So I could only make practice sometimes. So I didn't really push to try to play running back or anything like that. I love special teams, and I'm a special team monster. Yeah. So I became the starting bullet to the ball for kickoff and for punt return. That was my job, and I played, in that position as that person. If I was there, that was my spot every game for 7 seasons or something like that. Yeah. And one of those seasons, we won a championship, and I was very determined to be a factor in that game, and I'm very happy to say that I got the first fucking tackle of the game, and I got the last tackle of the game.
Bookended.
And I was very, and you know what? It might have been the last special teams tackle of the game. I don't mean to deprive somebody else because I am dyslexic, so I couldn't remember. It might have been the last special teams tackle, but all I cared about was that I freaking mattered for that game. Yeah, and I mattered all game long. And I just wanted to win a championship so bad. And when you're in the semi-pro circuit, you gotta win so many kind of local championships and to get up and be called a championship. And I think there's a couple teams that year that are probably saying that they're the semi-pro championship because it's all a matter of what
all over the place. Yeah,
I mean, it's like for me, it just was a personal point of pride. Most of my teammates are firemen and police officers. People who enjoy honor amongst men, physicality, and I was so proud of us. We kicked some ass that year, and we kicked ass all the time. It wasn't exactly fair. We were a dynasty, and it was people were always lining up to play for the Mariners, and I still am very good friends with so much of my teammates there. All lovely guys, and I just love sports, man. I'm an ex-gymnastics coach. Being athletic, keeping yourself healthy. Another thing that I learned from my mom and my dad.
Yeah,
and for me, it's like getting tattoos. I come to appreciate the process of getting tattoos. I'm tattooed all over my body because you sit there and at a certain point you're like, I gotta run away. This is a needle going into my body over and over again. This sucks. This is starting to hurt. I need to get the hell out of here. And you have to have a mental battle with yourself to be like, no,
it's cool.
Stay here and finish this tattoo. And really, when you have a really painful tattoo, you looked at it and you go, well, how does it look so far? Can I leave? So often you go, no way. I'm not walking around with that on my.
Yeah. No, it's
manning up, prioritizing. It really just the mental game involved in these things. I mean, also, going the plant medicine route. This is shaman. Around the globe. So many people have had great results from taking that path. It's been being used to help heroin addicts and alcoholics get over their addiction. By being able to to go to that place, and it's a scary thing to open up your mind to. You could see anything. You could be shown anything, and that tends to stop people. But it's a mental game, man. And I believe in challenging yourself to rise to the occasion, and I think that's why I'm a worthwhile musician. I'm somebody who has worthwhile things to add to the culture and to your mind, because I care to challenge myself in every way that I can.
Yeah, no, you definitely you got the passion, like we were saying earlier. You got passion. I can tell just sitting here bullshitting with you on Skype. You're all full of all of that. Give them out your site, your Twitter, your Instagram, whatever plugs you want to give. Shoot.
Oh, I'm on Instagram. Jesse Blaze 149. I really just recommend, though, go to Blacklight District Studios on YouTube, which has videos for tons of my stuff. It's some really cool stuff. We did some really funny promo videos for this comic that I did with my dad as Odin and me as Jesus, and we do like WWE style promos. And there's a bunch of animated videos for my songs, and a bunch of cool stuff there. So that's really like a really great place to go and explore me a little bit, get to know me. But I'm on Facebook too. My personal page is Jesse B Snider, and if you believe in anything that I've said here and want to get to know me, that's a good spot to follow me too. But yeah, that's it, man. My website's down right now, but it's going to be back up and running in like a week. JesseBlaze.com. And you know what? That's the last thing I should really say. If you want the coolest thing that I've done, period. If you want to go like Jesse seems to think he's like good at this or something, because I really believe in personal confidence because I believe in other people and I like other people. I want other people to believe in themselves. I believe that we all should believe in ourselves. And sometimes people take my belief in myself as like arrogance, and I have no arrogance whatsoever. I love my dad, love my mom, all respect to them. I think they're great at what they do. I think you're great at what you do. You're a great guy. That's why I said yes, sure, absolutely. I believe in other people, and I believe that if you believe in other people and are giving other people the space to be great, then it's okay for you to be great too. And if you want to see me being great, go to www.blacklightdistrict.co. I couldn't afford the M. There are 6 songs. There are 6 songs up there, and 6 comic books. I produced these comic books, which just means that I oversaw them working with these artists who used the comic books. Use the songs as inspiration for the comic books. Mm-hmm. And you read the lyrics in the comic books as you look at the art and listen to the song at the same time. It's a really different experience that you probably haven't done before. And Image Comics released our comic book. It came out to critical acclaim. It is really a fun thing. It's the best thing I've ever done. And if you want to explore something neat, that's the thing to look at.
We'll put a link up on that. And Jesse, it was good catching up with you. It's been, 17 years or so since we last spoke.
Remembering me and my family so fondly. I appreciate it.
No, my pleasure.
To hear stories of people who have dealt with us, and that and for me, it's 99.9999999%. Your family's so wonderful. So it's great. They all make me look so nice.
Really cool, bro. Thanks so much. I'll talk to you soon. Later.
Yeah, thank you guys for watching.
Thanks.
he thought was all in good fun. Pop goes